path as IOTA and Shimmer and say, well, if we can't do it, we're going to create a whole new separate network and then dick
Right.
around with bridging.
Well, and there was discussion, I think it was your project about, man, it's been so long now since I looked at it, but you know, like the wallet keys for the in-game wallets essentially would be essentially held by the gaming company, and you know how maybe,
Right.
and that was just the way it is, and how maybe in a crypto philosophical view how crazy that is. However, that is how all the games do it. That's how, I mean, Uber came out with Uber dollars once, and essentially all they're doing is keeping that on a spreadsheet. And, you know, could they at some point just change that and take your quote unquote Uber dollars that you literally gave fiat dollars for? And the reason then once you had Uber dollars, you got like 10% less on your rides, right? Or in a game, you know, I mean, some of these uh, gaming items that people have, you know, are worth extremely high value, can be sold on eBay and other online markets, centrally controlled. Could that game owner at any time sort of just rewrite the code and take your items? Sure, absolutely. The reason that they don't, though, is, you know, especially someone like Uber, is they're so vested and have so much value that essentially if they were to do something like that, their whole company would go to shit. So it's not to say that, oh, if you know, you know, theoretically, if a game owner, you know, held these funds or had centralized control, then no one would use it. Well, that's false because we see it in day-to-day already reality that indeed people do have that trust in that game if they enjoy the game, you know, and that's kind of the trade. So, but again, having L1 activity is going to offer so many benefits over a fully centralized game, and be able to give, you know, use of these tokens. So I definitely think that, you know, it could have legs and it could really go, and there's going to be a lot of benefit and people will use it. And again, it's like one of those things like, well, let's give it a shot and see what the market decides, you know, how they decide to use or use not. So, but I like it. I like it. Let's go with that. It's definitely going to make easier to quicker. And let's say we only have, you know, 12 months, you know, we can't spend 8 months trying to develop an EVM to then launch one or two things, and then that airdrop happens, and people haven't seen that it really has legs to take off. Go in that L1 approach, thinking if, you know, if it's not instant in a 12-month, then there's more time to show, hey, this thing works. There's benefits. It's going to grow. When you get your airdrop, hopefully it's much more value than, you know, when initially airdropped through the vesting period. And then people all of a sudden not only have something to use the tokens for, but at the same time see it as an investment. And now, you know, all the tokenomic variables are in place for a growing growth network. Okay,
Yeah.
so
What you said was basically, yeah, it was about TRAPPIST-1 that you and I spoke quite some time ago, regarding the centralized management of the wallets. World of Warcraft and so many other online games, all wallets, not on-chain wallets, but the equivalent of wallets, the inventory, the all crafted items, and the in-game currency, gold or credits or whatever you call them, all of that is managed centrally. And nobody
Right.
says, wait, I want to be able to take my gold out of World of Warcraft and store it
Right.
somewhere else because I don't trust Blizzard, right?
Right.
But there, long before, long before cryptocurrency started getting into gaming, there was already trading real-world dollars for in-game currency. Sometimes it was a black market thing. Sometimes it was much less black market and quite reasonably accepted by certain games. Second Life springs to mind. The in-game currency was directly convertible between in-game and fiat. Or it wasn't called fiat at the time, it was called dollars.
Right.
So the way we're using crypto in our game is we're using it to secure and affirm digital ownership. And if a player wants to pull that out of a central wallet and put it into his own wallet, that option is available.
Yeah.
And so yes, we're centralizing that wallet management.
Awesome.
Until the player wants to decentralize, pull it out himself. Again, for simplicity.
Yep. Cool. All right. So I think we're still on the same thing of incentives and trying to focus to get things kicked off. Part of this, again, we need to discuss with Garrett about the GitHub, about the website before we really kick things off. I think understanding what the community wants and what we decide, and when I say we, I mean, active community members that are coming weekly and getting active, not a centralized authority. Anyone can come, and we're adjusting the time to be more open to invite the community, so we have a community consensus. But yeah, I think once we decide on the airdrop vesting schedule, that's going to be a big step to next actions. We are working on the airdrop through the vote. Let's expand on the marketing concept through VC, through involvement. Great concept that came up last week. I think it was Saphir. And once we have sort of the airdrop vesting and can come up with the incentives, I think then we can start reaching out to the community to, come up with visuals, to come up with this concept and really start to get it to grow. We are working on the polls. And then what is TAN going to be? How is it the same as Shimmer? How is it better, different, not done in a negative connotation way? Okay, one thing, so we did get the incentives channel. Okay. That was something that we wanted to get done, and I'll try to get in this week and get active in that, because that's going to be a big step of, coming up with the 5-year breakdown, which is also going to help some of these marketing things that we can then start getting. Again, we have that long list of community members that aren't technical in nature but want to be active, and I bet you out of that group we have some that have a lot of experience seeing other networks grow, probably some that are working in marketing that can certainly help kind of build that vision and then communicate that vision out there. So I don't think we have too much till we figure out where Garrett is and access to the GitHub. I think that's one of the biggest things, unless someone else has something that they think we should focus on.
Nope, I feel like splitting into those two branches, just getting a hold of Garrett on the technical side, and then opening the floor on some of these further marketing discussions in parallel. Probably the next best course of action.
Yeah, agreed. And I think too, adjusting the time to see if we get a lot more activity will be great, and hopefully we do. I think there was 30. Well, no, on the airdrop one there was 30 something votes, which is pretty good. A little bit more activity than I thought. I'm glad we're doing the voting, because it kind of, I think, activates the community a little bit. And we have a marketing channel, I believe, if I remember correctly, marketing and branding. Yes. Okay. Okay. Quick one this week, but yeah, I think giving another week for the vote's really going to give us more data to make a final decision there, and definitely don't want to make a quick decision on something that is essentially a split between the community. And I always love seeing those, because that's like the difficult governance management of a community is when it's split down the middle. And if we can come through that in a positive way without pissing off too many people, and have an overall consensus, that's always, what I see as like a win at the end of the day. And it's just, yeah, it's fun. It's like a challenge to see that. And then it shows that, there's interest, there's activity, and, hopefully after it's all done, everyone feels that they've had a voice, that they've been heard, and that the decision was a consensus of the community in the best way. So, will be good to see that result over the next week. And I'm just trying to think. In the incentive channel, I'll try to at least create some discussion to try to see if we can come up with this total supply for each breakdown, because that will help, I think, us move to the next step. But yeah, this is good. This is good. And kind of refining our short-term vision, I think, is a great thing. And we're almost there. So Thanks for coming. If no one has anything else, then we'll just meet up next week.
Sounds good. Well,
All
take care,
right.
everybody. Keep chatting on the channels.
Take care. Have a good week, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.